Hello there, folks. Hey, in this quick video, we're going to talk about how you can set up a tag to change the IP address of a RedLion device. So currently in this database I've got running, let me go over here to communications, and you can currently see that I have an HMI set up as DHCP in this case, and I do not know, we'll just do this first. I don't know what IP address that particular screen has for this IP address. So one thing I'm going to do here is if I go over to display page on the left, and then if I go to the lower right hand corner and click on system, expand the functions tree, expand the network port, and there's a function here called get net IP. So I'm going to drag this out here like this, and I'm going to go ahead and make this guy be a little bigger like this, make the font a little bigger. I want to see what IP address my router happens to give me here at the office to this unit. So I'm going to go ahead and download this to the screen. I'm going to use the USB connection. There it is. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you a couple other things here too. In this application, normally team on the download tab, you'll use port 789. I'm going to use 791 because this is one of the many HMIs I use for virtual classes. And then the web server, just so you guys know, normally the web server is using port 80. I have multiple HMIs, so I use different ports, port forwarding. So this is going to be port 91. So let me go ahead and download this to the screen. Am I not plugged in? That's interesting. Fantastic. All right, let's try it again here. Boom. There we go. All right. So I downloaded to it. Now, I don't know, of course this comes up because it's USB connection. I can't really tell what the IP address is. I can look at the unit. I can walk over and physically look at it. But I'm going to use a tool called Angry IP to scan my network. So if I go start here, we're going to have this thing. I love this tool, Angry IP Scanner, because you can set up to look at different port numbers and so forth. So it's going to scan all the stuff that's currently plugged into my network here with some different port numbers. I'm going to stop it right here because I know that this guy right here with port 91, 791 is the particular one. So notice right now that the IP address my DHCP server has given to it is this 192.168.254.44. So if I open up my browser, here I have it, do a reload here, hit remote view, we can see right there is the IP address. Okay, so I'm using that to get the IP address via the DHCP. But the real purpose of this example is to make a tag that I can change to assign to different numbers. So here's what I'm going to do. Over here in communications, I'm going to click on Ethernet 1. Well, my network over here, Ethernet 1. Currently, it's set up as a DHCP client. I'm going to hit the pull down here, and I'm going to choose manual configuration. And normally, it'll come up 192.168.1.20. I'm going to do this, team. I'm going to put my cursor in here. I'm going to type =, my IP address. I am physically typing this. Okay. Now, I physically type that. I'm going to hit enter. Crimson's going to bark at me because I do not have a tag called this. So I'm going to say yes to this. Boom. And now I should have, if I go over to data tags over here, I have a new tag called my IP address. Okay. Now I want to do two things here. One, I want the HMI to retain or keep that during power down. So I'm going to make the value of this retentive. Number two, I'm going to click on the format tab, and down here where it says format type general, I'm going to hit the pick button, and I'm going to declare this as an IP address a type. Okay, so I'll click OK. There you go. All right, now I'm going to go over to display pages, and I want the operator to be able to change this. So if I go to data tags on the right, I'm going to grab this thing and drag it out here like this. I'm going to go ahead and make it be a little bigger by grabbing the corner. And then I got a couple other things. I want to make this a data entry. So I can either use this icon, turns in data entry, or I can double click on the whole thing to go the long way. And on the data tab, right here where it says operation display only, I want to make it data entry. Notice the colors get inverted here. That's a telltale sign that you've turned that on for data entry. And then I always have a rule. If I got a box on a screen that I want the operator to put a number in, team, I always like to put a border around it or an edge. Otherwise, I've seen operators click everywhere else on the screen except for that spot. So if I click on the edge tab here, go ahead and give this 2 or 3 pixels. Maybe I'll do 4 today. I'll change the border to red and I'll click the OK button. There you go. Now, this is going to let me put an IP address in, but that only gets accepted when the screen resets or powers up. It only really gets read then. So I need to take advantage of another function called commit and reset. And that is going to be over in the system section. In system, I think it's down here, user interface. Yeah, under user interface, there's a function here called commit and reset. But I'm going to use a button that does this. So I'm going to go to primitives on the right. I happen to be in the core primitives. If I slide all the way down to the bottom, the second row from the bottom, the middle column is a bevel button. I click on that one time, you get all these pre-built different ones. I'm going to grab a red one, for instance, and I'll drag it out here like this, and I'll make this guy be a little bigger like that. I'm going to right-click, go to Properties, and I want, right away it starts off on the text, I want this to say commit and reset. Now, team, I don't know if you know this trick, but if you use the pipe symbol, that is like a line feed. So if I do a couple of pipes, that's a straight up and down character. There it is. I'm going to change the font color to white because red with the background black doesn't look very good. I'll make this be a little bigger. Okay. Now, the action I want, I'm going to go to the Action tab, and when the operator pushes this is when I want this to execute. So I'm going to choose User Defined, go over to the lower right-hand corner, and I'm going to grab the commit and reset and put it right here into the on released. I always teach to use the on released because if an operator does the on pressed, you never know, they might hold it down forever, and before you know it, you're 3 pages in. So I'm going to click the OK button. All right, I think this looks good to me. Let me go ahead and download this. I'm going to download this. Well, let's go ahead and download USB because that's what I'm on right now. I'm still USB. Yep. So we'll go ahead and do that. Boom. See what happens here. Fascinating. There. I don't know why it's taking so long to download over USB. All right. So there it says supposedly that it's done. Let's go back to our web server here. Okay, so here we have a problem because this time, well, it came up with the same address. Okay. Now I want to be able to change this. So here's the IP address here. And according to Angry Scanner, Angry IP, this is all the stuff I got currently on my network. So how about if we change this to number 17? I don't see 254.17 in here. All right, so let's go here. 192.168.254.17. Hit enter. There it is. This is what it currently is right here. This is what I want it to go to. So I'm going to hit the commit and reset button, which is going to cause the HMI to cycle power, which it's currently doing. I'll wait to hear it beep. There, I heard it beep, so it's starting up. And you could hear that, maybe you heard the USB reset. All right, so according to this, now it should have this number. So I'm going to, I'll do the back arrow here. Okay, there's the USB, pop back up. Okay, so this time if I put in 192.168.254.17:91, there it is. We're back to this remote view, and there you can see it. How about this, team? Let's go ahead and try the Angry IP, see if it finds it. It was here. Let's see what it does this time. So I'll say yes. What's interesting about this is what's really interesting. Here it finds it, but for some reason the router here at my office, it does not like anything as static IP address. It does not give you the whatever the host name, or it won't load, won't do any port forwarding rules, nothing if I have it in a fixed IP address, ironically. But if I do DHCP, works great. Anyway, there it is right there. There's the 17. Do we have an 18? We have an 18, got a 19, got a 20 in here. I don't see a 20. Let's try this. Let's change this to a 20 this time. 192.168.254.20. Hit enter. Let me just double check, make sure that I don't see a 20 here. I don't want to be fighting something. All right. Hit commit and reset once again. Okay, cycle and power. This time, we're going to come up to the IP address of .20, we think. All right, just beep, so let's turn it back on. I'm going to go up here and put 192.168.254.20:91. Okay, the USB drive just came back up, so let's see if I hit enter here. Here it is. And there you go. Now, one thing that's nice is from the display page, I put the IP address on there. So if you're building a RedLion database, you might have a display page called config or something where it shows the current IP address, and then you could do this procedure to change it from any display page, any web page that you have on there. So if the unit did not have a HMI page, if you're using like a FlexEdge or a Grok or one of those RedLion units, the headless units, you would need to use a tool like this to find the IP address, or there's a way over USB. I have another video on how to find an IP address from a headless unit that you can use the USB connection to find out an IP address. Anyway, that's just a quick video, team, on how you can use a tag for your IP address. I think you can do the same thing for network mask and gateway as well. The only thing you got to remember is that when you make a change here, you've got to execute the commit and reset, because those parameters are only read on power up of the HMI. They do not, as far as I know, you can't force the change while the application is running. Hey, thanks a lot, folks. Have a great day. We'll see you later.